Hey guys, Dad here, and today I'm going to show you a really inexpensive hack to make your cheap miter saw produce accurate and repeatable crosscuts. You know, repeatability isn't something limited to a table saw or one of those big fancy miter stations anymore, because as you can see, I'm doing this all on a mobile cart. So let's get started. The first step is to rest a long board on your saw and mark the position of two existing mounting holes with a center punch or scratch awl. Most saws come with these accessory holes, but if not, there's nothing stopping you from drilling two new holes in your stock fence. Now the board I chose is about 8 feet long and about as high as the existing fence, but you could use a shorter or longer board depending on what size material you usually cut. Then find a drill bit that matches whatever size holes are in your fence. Take the board over to your drill press or simply use a hand drill to drill the holes on your marks all the way through the board using the bit you just selected. Then, using a Forstner bit, create some countersinks deep enough in the board to allow some mounting bolt heads to sit just shy of flush with the face of the board. Next, you'll need to chop a little block off the other end of the board to use as your stop block. Alright, now it's time to route a dovetail groove. I'm using my router table with a fence to make this easy, but if you don't have a router table, you could use a palm router with an edge guide as well. Set your fence or edge guide to route a slot somewhere between the edge of the countersink holes and the top edge of your board. If you've never used the match fit system for making your jigs, you are missing out. Now this is not a sponsored video, but I just prefer to use their parts for making all of my shop jigs. You start by making a relief cut along the length of the board, setting the depth for a straight edge router bit with the match fit depth guide. Then set a feather board to keep your board pressed tightly against the fence through the hole cut. This keeps your dovetail groove nice and straight. I'll link to the magnetic featherboard I use in the description. Start your router and dust collection and begin carefully feeding the board over the bit. Because this board is so long, you might need both infeed and outfeed rollers. Take it nice and slow, but be sure to keep firm downward, outward, and forward pressure on the board at all times. Of course, use push blocks and never curl your fingers around the back of the board. When you're done, swap the straight edge bit for the dovetail bit that comes with the match fit system. My Craig router lift comes with these adjustable inserts for quickly swapping between different size bits. Set the dovetail bit depth with the other hole on the included depth guide, and then check your featherboard fit if needed. Route the dovetail slot just like you did with the relief slot. Now some people try to go straight to a full depth dovetail cut, but I think it's worth the extra time to do it right so the chips don't get jammed where they're not supposed to go. Next, it's time to make the stop block. Line up your stop block on your track and mark the center of the slot on the edge of the block. Then transfer that mark around to the face of the block. Drill a hole all the way through your block aligned with your mark. Next, it's time to test the fit. Slide the special dovetailed headed screw into the slot and then push the block onto the screw. Tighten it up with the thumb nut. Now you can find all this hardware, the match fit dovetail bit, and the depth gauge in the link below. Next, grab some scraps of wood and mark a rectangle on one of the corners to remove. The goal is to create a little ledge that will slide along the top of your track to help keep the stop block square to the track. Don't worry, this will make sense in a moment. Move over to the bandsaw and cut the rectangle out. Next, it's time to assemble the pieces. Now my piece of scrap wood is a little thicker than it needed to be, so I also cut this little rectangle as a spacer for the back side of the stop block. None of these dimensions really matter, just make a block that can sit flush against your rail and resist twisting by having that little ledge on top. As you can see, I glued and nailed my block together. Now, install two T-track bolts into the countersunk rail holes. Slide the rail and the bolts through the holes on your stock fence. And then thread on some winged nuts. You can get these at any hardware store. With the rail secured in place, cut the end of the rail off. This ensures that we know exactly where to measure from and helps prevent tear out. Now this is the most important part because it will affect the accuracy of all of your cuts. Apply a self-adhesive tape rule to the top of the rail, making sure to place the zero mark exactly on the sawed edge. Be sure to find one that reads from right to left instead of the standard left to right. I'll leave the one I use down in the description. Take your time to keep it centered on the rail as you go. And when you get to the end, just cut off whatever's left. Alright, now it's time to put it all together. Slide the dovetail screw into the rail slot, attach a stop block, and finish with the thumb nut. Now to set the length of your cut, simply slide the stop block to where it needs to go and tighten the nut. It doesn't matter how big your stop block is, just always measure from the closest face to the saw. And there you go. Just slide your board up against the stop block, make your cut, and repeat as many times as necessary. You'll get boards exactly the same length every time. If you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.